All right, here we are, hole 3. And from this second tee box, it's a little bit easier than the third tee box. You still may want to go power 4 option if you have that. Similarly, you may want to go Guardian, especially Guardian 6. So I'm just going to make that switch now. I'm assuming we're not going to get straight into the face. If I do, I'm going to feel pretty ridiculous, because you'll probably never be able to get Guardian there if we do have a headwind, but I'm assuming they're almost going to give tailwind just so certain guys can't get it to that island green and 2, and then other guys can't. So I would imagine they're not going to give us wind straight in the face. So I don't want to create too much of a advantage. So I was assuming we'd get some sort of crosswind tailwind situation. And with that being said, you'll want to try to land somewhere down here, maybe with just a little bit of wind effect. Go 5 rings here. So with the wind effect, I am going to still curl it some. Try to keep her on this left-hand side a little bit. What it's going to do is kind of shorten the hole. So anything towards the right-hand side will essentially kind of lengthen the second shot. So what I can do there is just kind of favor the left-hand side and make sure that I keep it within range. One thing to keep in mind and note is a Guardian 8 is going to have 4 extra yards. So it will make that second shot just a little bit easier. This is actually kind of an anomaly wind. It's very tough to play this hole with this wind. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop from Wi-Fi. I'm not sure if it's, I'm assuming that that's definitely my Wi-Fi when it's dropping for that long. But what I'm going to try to do on this tee shot is put the target just onto the top of this, just barely. So I'll have to figure out how much power that requires. It's kind of an anomaly land zone. So you can't really land anywhere in this rough, because if you put it down here, it's going to short hit. And once you move it to that top cliff, it's going to launch well beyond what you see on the target. So it's a there's kind of a dead zone, I call it, as like an area that there's no way, no how you can land. So with that being said, I am going to go into the orange in this situation. You'll just have to play the distance based on what you see, and you can basically see what's ended up happening there. You can see that goes well into the green with where it lands. Like, it lands way up here. As I mentioned, it's going to be very tough, almost impossible to land anywhere around here. It's almost flat out impossible to land there. And one of the biggest reasons is because when you move it to low ground, the ball lands well short. You'll see it land right on this out of bounds line, maybe just creep onto the top. But as you bring it up with just an extra ring of power, you'll see that it lands almost up on the green. So that's what I mean when I say the term, there's kind of like a dead zone on. It's a glitch in the game. It's just something you need to know about, that it's going to happen. But if you can put that ball guide right onto the very top edge of the cliff, that's all you're trying to do. And that, if you can avoid having to go into power, that's what's ideal. What I do with the sniper is I actually play it off that rough intentionally. So you can see opponent tried to maybe just get it to, I'm not necessarily, maybe that is what they were trying to do. But you'll see that, easy eagle, especially if you bring that Guardian. So that's one of the biggest things that I'd recommend, especially for that wind. For that wind specifically, going for that rough shot is going to be significantly harder, because what happens is that kind of dead zone glitch. You got to make sure that the ball guide's up there. And again, once the ball guide is up there, it's going to launch beyond the target. So you'll see that the ball goes farther. It's going to be very tough to actually land on that rough if you are going with the sniper approach and going for a bump with that wind angle. It's going to be a little bit tough to do. So I may just recommend staying away from that. So keep those tips in mind. Good luck with that hole, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next